Well, hello everybody. I want to join you today with something that is just burning on the hearts of so many people right now. Wait for you to join us. I have an amazing friend with me today. We're going to be speaking part of this 50 Days for Life that Christy and I have been hosting with many other leaders from around the world who all share different perspectives, all carry something different for this from the Lord. It's just been amazing hearing God's heart through so many different people from so many different streams. And today's not going to be any exception to that. I've got a good friend of mine who is going to be just sharing his heart and what God's speaking to him. So, Fabiano, you are the theatrical director for Bethel Conservatory of the Arts, and you just have an incredible group of creatives underneath you. I mean, it was such a blessing for me to see that in action. Welcome to today, and
thanks, man. It's great. It's great to be with you, man. And I miss you. It's great to see your face. You look awesome, and I just love. You know what I love? I love your prophetic voice in the nation. I love what you and Christy speak out. I love what you stand for as a family, and I love that you're doing this. Now is such a crucial time in this nation, in the world, about the topic of speaking out for the unborn, man.
It's so the heartbeat of the Father, isn't it?
Sheesh, dude. I this has been on my heart for such a long time. I remember having a conversation years ago with a friend. We saying the church need to stand up. The church need to be on the front line of speaking out for those that have no voice. And the people and the group we're talking about today definitely don't have a voice.
No,
you know, we have to be the voice for them. We are their mouthpiece, right?
Wow, yeah. That's it. You know, this is something that a lot of people have been carrying and burning with for a long time, but it feels like we were just talking about before. It suddenly feels like it's a red light. It's a green light for the church to really begin to discuss something that hasn't been a very popular topic for a long time, even though it should be the very thing we should be talking about because it's life. What did Jesus come to bring? Life. When did this topic of abortion and life and speaking up for the unborn really become something that went from, this is a topic that, yes, you believe should shift or change to something that you really felt like you're burning with? When did that happen for you?
So when I went to a Catholic school, and I saw back in the day, I think you can still get it on screen. It was a video called A Silent Scream.
Wow.
And it was a video, I think I was 13, and it showed an abortion taking place.
Wow.
And dude, that scarred me, man. And I just, from that point, I can't understand it. I can't understand how you can dehumanize something by calling it a fetus and saying life doesn't start at conception. We've had 3 miscarriages, right? And all at different times. There was one at 9 weeks. I think we had one at 13 and one at 15 weeks. And the one at 15 weeks, which was the last one, I held. And there is nobody that can say on God's great planet Earth that was not a child.
Wow,
and if children can survive at 24 weeks, bro, and they still want to do late-term abortions past 24 weeks and up to 9 months. Seriously, bro, what is that about? I get too passionate. Sorry, if my passion comes across a bit too strong, dude, I'm really for this. I think it's murder.
Well, of course it is.
Carte blanche murder. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, I saw that movie, and then I remember sitting with a good friend of mine, a guy called Paul Ewings, a theatrical director, phenomenal artist, lives in Thailand now, and we were both sitting down talking about it. And from that point, he actually said to me, Christians should make a movie about this. And it's so funny that like 20 years later, we're making a movie about it. We've made a movie about it. It comes out March 29th.
Okay, I'll give everybody the backstory on this.
Some context, yeah.
When we were in Reading recently, Fabiano and the guys at the conservatory asked Christy and I to come out and to see a pre-screening for a movie called Unplanned. And you were part of that. You were one of the acting coaches as well as an actor.
I was an actor, I was an acting coach, and I was co-producer on it.
Co-producer. So you can share just share with us about Unplanned, how that kind of came about, and
Well,
what's the
yeah, I mean, so the guys Chuck and Carrie, who wrote The Rights of God's Not Dead,
Yeah.
they had, and Daryl Lefevre, who was the producer of I Can Only Imagine, had it on their heart to basically tell the Abby Johnson story. They bought the rights and they held on to the rights. I believe, I can remember, it was about 5 years. It was never the right time to make the movie because they had a heart to tell her story. I mean, Abby Johnson was complicit in over 22,000 abortions. She was the youngest regional director of Planned Parenthood. And she was there, I believe it was for 8 years. And I say I believe it. And flipping, you know, I haven't seen the movie. You catching me up. I've just come out of boxing. And she goes in the back because they're short-staffed, and she sees an abortion take place. And from that moment, she didn't realize. I mean, I don't know how she couldn't realize, but she just didn't realize that you could hear the heartbeat, that when it moved inside the womb, that it was a real human being. It was a baby. Then at that point, she completely shifted and went over completely to the other side and became a pro-life advocate and has been ever since. And the story's incredible, man. She had 2 abortions of her own. And then in the movie, it shows that she has 1 child called Grace, and now she's got 8.
Wow. You know, the movie for me, like it was like I was watching a real life thing play out. I'll be honest, I walked out of the movie. I felt like I was watching it face to face, and I had to take a moment to catch my breath and to deal with my emotions. It was that. I've never seen a movie like that. And I saw you acting in it, and your daughter Bella plays one of the girls who goes in for an abortion. Was that? How was that? Like, how did you? Yeah, I don't know. That was.
It was interesting. It was. I mean, prepping for the role was really interesting because that was one of the sides where they had a little bit of artistic license in the actual trim out of that, which I can't go into, was really even more horrific than when you see it in the movie. But you know, in the movie, I force my daughter, 16-year-old, to have an abortion because I'm not happy with her father. And then you see her bleed out.
Yeah.
He perforates her uterus and she starts to bleed out and nearly dies.
Yeah.
And then fill her with plasma. And you see my scene where I am wondering why it's taken so long when they say it's going to be such a short procedure. And then Abby Johnson comes out and she kind of, you know, she comforts me. But behind the scenes, you see her nearly bleed out on the floor. And that's true. Things like that happened. And I think seeing my daughter go through that, even though obviously I know it's not real, seeing her in those scenes, when you see it on the big screen, it's brutal.
It is.
Because there are so many young kids in that scene and so many young kids that have been through this treatment.
Yeah. You know, the scene that really stood out to me, like Christy's mentioned this a few times, is where you see all these young girls in the waiting room who've just been through the procedure. And it is not glorious. It is not glamorous. She says it reminds her of like a concentration camp or something. You know, it's very unhumane. Even how, I mean, this is not a celebrate. It's not something to celebrate at all. No. You know, this movie in so many ways just paints it really brings the reality of what's really happening to people, and I'm just so excited to see it finally be open for everybody to see. You guys have done such a great job of putting this together in such an incredible way that tells a true story. I mean, even hearing Chris speak about how down to every detail this was truth and accurate. You know, it was 9 years ago. Christy read the Abby Johnson story. Remember, she
told me, I know.
In the middle of the night, groaning. I'm like, what is that noise? Is there like a wild beast or something? in our home. She was groaning in the spirit, like in travail. And this story carries significant weight. What Abby has been through and what this story is going to reveal to the world, it really is going to bring to the forefront what's really happening, and it's unveiling a demonic agenda that's taking out the generation that's meant to arise in response to the earth. I mean, one of my favorite scriptures is Romans 8. It's at 19. It sort of speaks about earth groans, eagerly waiting sons and daughters to be revealed. They can't be revealed if there's no sons and daughters. They're all being born before they even have a voice. And this is how serious this is. This is a generation who are meant to be the response to be in the world's greatest harvest and greatest move of God, greatest outpouring. But where are they? That is what we're standing up for. Yeah. And so I'm still blown away. Christy and I are still processing the movie a month and a half later, but this is an exciting moment to see it finally get out there, and we can't wait to see it and get people involved.
And you know what, bro? When you first saw it, there'd been a few more changes, and I saw it the other night because we did a showing for Bethel staff. And, you know, it was great. It was the first time Chris Valentin had seen the movie because I managed to I cast Chris Valentin as the pastor in it. And I was also part casting director on the movie as well. And the second time's even more powerful.
Wow.
I think it's one of those movies that one of my students, she came to see it because I invited my third years to come and see it. And she was still processing the next day, but like weeping, processing. It was like her intercessory heart.
Yeah,
was just processing that this still happens, and we've still got people in Congress or that are still trying to push an agenda for late term abortion. And then you've got the most stupid, sorry about this, bro, but the most stupid movement called Shout Your Abortion.
Yeah.
Oh. Have you seen it? Like that, it was on kids, and that very attractive woman to the kids with that nice twinkling music in the background and saying, "Oh, I've had an abortion. I believe abortion's God's will." I mean, I literally want to feel sick that this is being taught, and they're trying to infiltrate with this agenda that it's all right to kill the unborn up to at any time, as if it's some form of contraception for the convenience of the woman. I'm like, I mean, guys, come on. I would never, ever, if somebody'd been raped, these are extreme cases. I would never give advice flippantly and go, yeah, of course, just go through it and put it up for adoption. I would never flippantly say anything like that. But the point is, when people are doing it in the name of convenience, dude, it just riles me. It's not fair. We've dehumanized, as she says in the movie, a whole part of society.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? Now they're talking about infanticide.
Oh, that is, you know what? That to me though was like the enemy overplaying his hand. I mean, now people are going, hang on a second. I mean, abortion from the beginning is not okay, but
no,
it's like, hang on a second. You're wanting to. A lot of people who were for abortion, they're going, hang on a second. You're wanting to actually kill babies now? I need to think about what I really believe. And there is a huge movement of people finally seeing this what it really is, and I think that's a really good thing. A lot of people, look, dude, we've known for a long time. A lot of the church have even been for abortion without because they just go, and the church is going, hang on a second. I was okay with up to 12 weeks, but this is, and they begin to reevaluate what they really believe, and they're going, hang on, God, what are you saying? And God's like, well, a life is a life, and that's a good thing to see, I think. So.
Yeah, I mean, they even say, I think it's as high as 25% of the people in the church have had an abortion.
Yeah.
That's a high ratio, man. It's a high percentage.
Yeah, it is huge. We've actually met a lot of people in our travels and ministry, who are needing a lot of healing for that. And I feel like that's something that I really burn for is that restoration, redemption process. Actually, at the end of the movie, right, it shows that fence where there's so much interaction on that fence. You can see the movie. By the way, people who've been asking, they're writing on here, the movie is called Unplanned. I think you can go to unplanned.com or unplannedmovie.com.
It's unplannedfilm.com.
Unplannedfilm.com. Just so you know what we're talking about as we're referencing this. But, at the end of the movie, I don't want to give it away, but there is a huge place of redemption and significance of playing and weaving that redemptive story into this. And I believe that a part of this, how we're going to shift this tide culturally, is that we're going to create an opportunity in the church to be able to really surround those who have walkthroughs. I mean, I was meant to be aborted. My mum had aborted before me. I mean, that's the normal history of a generation. So many people's parents, this was normal. You know, now it's just going to be just like slavery and just like the Holocaust. This is not normal. This is not okay on our watch anymore. We need to give a place for people to be healed and restored. And I'm so glad that there is people, mothers and fathers, rising up with that aspect as well as revealing, hey, this is not okay.
Exactly. And I don't want to come across as being condemning. Anybody who's had it, the last thing we'd want would be to condemn them or shame them. And Jesus absolutely 100% loves everybody and loves everybody in that situation. My beef is with the people that are trying to pass laws to still encourage this. That's where my beef lies.
How do you feel like we can culturally shift this tide? What is it that you burn with? Like, I want you to give it to me straight and give it to all of us straight. What do you feel like that you want to see, and that you feel like, not like, yes, as the kingdom, yes, as the church, but what do you feel like that needs to be set in place for things to be really dramatically shifted? I'm not just talking about the ending of Roe v. Wade. I'm talking about as a culture and as a generation alive on this earth, that this becomes something of the past. We move into a new future. What do you believe needs to shift and take place?
Well, basically, I would say this. I'd use the model of what happened before when 40 Days for Life would pray at the Planned Parenthood clinics. The amount of abortions in a day would drop. I believe first and foremost we are dealing with a principality. So we have to come in prayer, man.
Yeah, wow.
We have to come in prayer. We have to come in prayer and we have to intercede. Secondly, we have to rally. We have to make movies like this. The church has to speak out, and not in a condemnatory way. We need to create a space for people that may feel ashamed to be loved again, right? For healing. But we need to speak out as a voice against the politicians who are speaking for abortion, who are pro-choice. You know, we need to speak out against that, and we need to change the culture. And there's only way to do that, to speak out against it and to pray through it.
Yeah.
It has to be proactive. It can't be passive. We can't say, oh, well, let's just pray and think that the Lord will do it. We need to do both, man. We need to become voices.
Wow, I love that. I love the passion you carry, bro. You know, there's something about this guy. Every moment I'm around him, you just burn with passion, and it shows through all of your work. I love the way that you see the world grow, and I feel like that you are a voice. I just want to prophesy to you a little bit, because I just feel like this is the season for your voice. I feel like, even beyond this movie, wow, Holy Spirit, I feel like the Lord is raising you up as a voice for causes, and He calls you a father in this season. And as a father, I see like people like you and Chris Valadin, that you're raised up as voices that won't be silent anymore. And I feel like that God's going to use you as a key. I see a certain demographic of people. I'm not sure why I'm seeing this, but I feel like even the LGBT community, I feel like you have a voice there as a father. I feel like that there is all these different avenues God's going to open up to you as a voice in this season to bring healing and restoration. But I feel like that you're a hammer in the spirit, Fabiano. You're a hammer in the spirit. And I see it's almost like this massive Thor hammer. And the Lord wants you to know, I keep hearing that scripture about Isaiah 45, He breaks asunder the doors and bars of iron. And I feel like you're going to clear and open the way for people to walk through. And you know how to establish healthy community and family and a safe place for people to come and to be able to grow with God and to be able to draw out every single part of them. That's that apostolic fathering anointing upon your life. And I just bless the voice that you are. I bless you for the hard seasons you've had to walk through to be able to steward and to carry what you carry. But I just bless that voice. I thank you, Father, for how you're raising him up in this hour. And you're such a needed voice, and so blessed to know you, my friend. And it's so good to have you on here today. So yeah, Lord bless him, Jesus. And his wife, Claire, who's incredible. This is a Renaissance family. I know this is not what you wanted me to come on here to do, but if you want to ever connect with Fabiano and the Bethel Conservatory, they're incredible. Make sure you go to bethelconservatory.com. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you guys are a movement. I mean, the creative people you're raising up is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's like raising up creative people, not just for now, but for the years to come. It's like you guys see 10, 20 years down the track of what culture and what society and what the kingdom's going to look like, and you're shaping it now. That's the way I saw it when I was there with you guys. Like, wow, these guys are on the forefront, the cutting edge of what God is doing in the earth to really bring back Hollywood into the kingdom and to really restore some of those fallen places that are meant to be for the God's kids to inhabit and to rule and reign in, man. That is what you guys are raising up a movement, which is so fitting that Bethel and a lot of people from Bethel, Chris Vallen, a lot of these guys, Sean Foyt, are all involved in Unplanned film.
Right.
And
Sean was amazing, man. I mean, literally, Sean shifted his schedule just to fly out for the day and lead worship and give just a talk. I mean, he's so passionate. I mean, he's passionate about so many things, but he's so passionate about this, man. It's just it's incredible the amount of people. I mean, we had like 4 or 5 intercessors on the set at any one given time. It was just crazy. And you know what? A lot of the other pro-life movies I heard had really lots of attack.
wow,
The Lord spared us, man.
wow,
He cocooned us throughout the 7 weeks we were shooting. It was phenomenal. And the lead actress, Ashley Bratcher, she was a gem. She really portrayed that role so robustly and did so well. It was. I'm really pleased with the movie, man.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to. It's definitely not your normal Christian movie. It's definitely not. It doesn't quite fit the boxes of what people will think. I think it's going to really. It's going to go beyond the norm. It's incredible that we're really seeing almost like a grassroots word of mouth kind of way that it's getting out there as well. It's amazing. It's spread all over Facebook right now, like crazy.
Dude, I mean, we released the trailer on Thursday, and within what are we now? Wednesday. I think within 2 days we're at 900,000. I believe we're at like 1.6, 1.7 million views, or on Facebook alone, not to mention YouTube.
That's amazing.
So grassroots level, it's the time. It couldn't have been timed like this.
No.
At this point in history, there's no way we could have timed it and released it at this point. It's just the Lord. And I pray that people go and see it, man.
Oh,
sorry, I cut you off there, bro.
No, not at all. I want to talk about this movie more. Like this really is. I mean, this project you've had and your life's been consumed with and so many people. I mean, I feel consumed with it as well. Even over here in Australia, it's just I'm just wanting to get it out there because there are so many conversations we can have, but this movie says it all.
It does. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't miss anything out, in my opinion, and I feel like that's a God thing. I think Chuck and Carrie and Chris and all these guys are like, it's been like God dropped something in their laps, really, really awesome. So I just want to end today with how we can pray over there. If we can be praying for one thing, what is burning in your heart for us to pray for as a church right now?
I really pray that people will get behind it. So people won't be, the majority will see it. When people become passive about voting and go, the majority will do it, they realize that their vote counts. So their ticket counts. When they go and see that, they go to promote the movie. Every movie is determined by the first weekend. And we're not talking from a financial point of view. It is from a financial point of view as well, but from a point of view of getting behind it. Right? If you go on unplannedfilm.com, you can actually rent theaters out, and it's like over here anyway. And they'll do private screenings. You invite people. You can book the theaters out. People just need to go and see the movie. That's my heart, man. That's my heart. Is the movie will do exactly what the Lord intended it to do from the foundation of the earth, which I believe is to overthrow abortion. It has to stop.
Yeah.
It has to stop.
Amen. Well, today's prayer point for all those who've been following the 50 days of prayer, it's really getting behind Unplanned. We really just make today say, God, get out your not even just Unplanned, but God, get out your message of what's really happening. God, unveil what where there's been the hidden plot and agenda of bringing this into society as a norm. God, let it shift. That's what we're praying into that. But as a practical thing, if you're watching this today, like, well, what can I do? I want to say, get behind the movie, watch the movie, share the movie. There's the trailers up on there. If you feel in your heart, whatever city in the world you're in, write into those guys, and you feel like you want to host that screening when it's available in your city with a group of people, with your church, at a cinema somewhere, a theater somewhere. Get behind them. If you want to sow into that project, you can do that as well. But if I can get anything away from what you've just said today, Fabiano, it's be a voice. Be a voice. I feel like that's what I just keep hearing from you, is what's just booming and coming from who you are. It says be a voice. So I want to challenge everyone watching this today. Be a voice for those who don't have a voice. Yeah. Pray into this right now. Why? Because we're in a window of time where things are shifting. I do believe that. Your prayers are powerful. Doesn't matter who you are. You think your prayers don't do anything. Well, the scripture says your prayers avail much. The righteous, your prayers shift and move things. So pray and just get behind organizations and people that are really championing life right now in this season. And again, go watch the movie. Go watch the movie. And see my amazing friend Fab, his daughter Bella, in there. And it's going to shift culture. We're in a moment that the tide is turning. Anything else you want to say, Fab, before we end?
Yeah, I just want to say that anybody out there with having that voice, also realize that voice is to be in love. That we come against the people that are trying to push laws, as we come against that hard. We come at principality hard, but we don't want to engage in arguments that look like we are being vicious. We still got to come in love, but we stand against that power, and people go, "Oh, it's the woman's choice. It's the woman's choice." But where's the baby's choice? And we just stop it. We don't want to create this like us and them thing. But the reality is, we got to come in love while standing for the justice of the unborn.
Yeah, Lord, just pouring your love right now over every voice and over every church, Lord, over the body of Christ, that we be a voice of love in this, in Jesus' mighty name. Well, Fab, thank you so much for joining me today. What a privilege and honor. I want to get you on here all the time. This guy, oh man, seriously, so blessed to be your friend, bro.
You
so
too,
blessed
brother.
we got to hang out a little bit recently, and just God did some awesome things. So follow this guy. Follow him on Facebook. I hope you get blown up on your Facebook with friend requests, because you need to follow this guy. He is a voice, and watch that space. Bless you, my friend. And
thanks, bro.
Everybody watching, please share this video. Get it out there. Your number one thing of being a voice is share this video. Yeah. So bless you guys, and we'll join you tomorrow with another prayer point for these 50 days for life. Follow us, and we'll talk soon.
Bless you all.
Bye.
Bless you, mate.